So earlier,
well, first of all, yeah, you got to set the stage. That's like.
So Fielding is typically the expert on all things conspiratorial.
Sure.
And I asked him if he had ever heard about this drink before. And
not a sponsor.
And it's how it originated. So World War II is happening.
Okay. And so far, not familiar.
The Coca-Cola executives in Germany are running a good business. They're doing a good job.
Wait. Coca-Cola came from Germany?
No. Coca-Cola had gone there, but they had regional presidents, that type of thing.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
And all of a sudden, America said, no more. 9. We're not going to be shipping stuff there.
Okay.
9. You're not going to get any syrups and all of the wonderful things that make Coca-Cola great. And so they basically made up their own version, called it Fanta, and came up with all of the drinks. So these were Nazi Coca-Cola executives that started this out.
Is that why Fanta seems so basic? Like Fanta grape, Fanta lime, Fanta strawberry.
Yeah, because when you translate, well, and also if you'll notice, like a lot of it is huge in South America. Where did all the Nazis go?
Argentina. All right.
What were they drinking?
Okay.
But now,
I had never heard that.
Yeah, we'll fact check that and edit it out if it's any of that's incorrect.
Even if it is incorrect.
If any of the Nazis are still alive that ran the Coca-Cola factory in Germany during World War II,
they definitely are.
Watch out, because there's some people coming after you if you watch that show. What's the show on? Have you seen that? Hunters.
Yeah, Hunters on Amazon Prime.
So anyway, dude, I'm actually just basking in the glory of knowing a conspiracy.
That feeling didn't know?
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked. Somewhat disappointed.
Feels good. Feels good.
And for the record...
Got my... I'm hard to kidnap.
You're hard to kidnap.
Just in case someone... I wanted the world to know that if you're going to kidnap one of us, I'm the hardest one.
I have an idea probably who's the easiest, but...
It's one of you two.
I have a question on where did that come from? Because I've seen photos of you like with a shirt that's like, I'm hard to kidnap.
Oh.
So did you like make that logo? Did somebody give that to you?
I just saw it online.
You just ordered it.
And I ordered it. So probably made someone's dream come true. Not that I made their dream come true, but they're probably like, I should make a t-shirt company. And they had no real creativeness in their visual stuff.
And someone's like, well, Dad, you're always hard to, you joke you'd be hard to kidnap. Why don't you put that on a t-shirt?
Yeah. And then someone did it, and we just had this kismet thing, and yeah, this is it. The only one I get more comments on positively is when I have another t-shirt that says, "You all need Jesus."
That's another.
That one gets the most.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So. That is pretty epic. Yeah. Epic t-shirt. I'm kind of blown away with the Fanta thing.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Hey, what are they going to do? They had employees. They had a factory that was running.
Right.
A lot of that stuff happened after the war, too. Yeah.
And easy to be like, hey, you guys are doing terrible things.
Coca-Cola, so I don't want to get too crazy into it because I don't want to but you just Google all the weird stuff because a lot of Americans, including some American companies, were very pro-Nazi, pro-Germany at that time. And there was some weird shenanigans going with they didn't terminate business exactly maybe when they should have, and maybe took profits after, type thing. But then as the war deepened and things became scarce, the formula for the German Coke, I think it still exists. I mean, this could be something we look at, but it wasn't Coke anymore because it didn't have the coconut, it didn't have any cocaine in it. It was but they tried to mix stuff that made it taste like it. It just became kind of this weird thing. But it became a drink that people were like, "Oh yeah, Coke."
Bootleg Coke.
It was like bootleg Coke.
All right, should we get started?
Let's do it.
We've developed several ciphers.
Murdered in Dallas, Texas. He was shot by a sniper hiding in a building near his.
Bizarre flash occurs, and the plane has vanished.
Episode 5. Can you believe we've been doing this now? 5 weeks?
Dude,
Episode
we're better than
5.
90-something% of all other podcasts.
I like it.
Yeah, easily.
If you just go in longevity. So
There you go.
We'll leave it there.
That's what we'll start at. Yeah.
Yeah. And, dude, whoever's, like, editing...
He's a baller.
He's a baller.
Dude.
Yeah.
I learned a little bit of what goes into it.
I'd kiss him on his mouth. If I could.
You can't.
Well, time travel.
You literally... Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to.
I mean, I think that's a
didn't
paradox.
think about time travel. You would destroy the fabric of the universe, but...
But would it be worth it? I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't want to kiss myself. That'd be weird. Be a cool picture, though.
Controversial question. Is that gay?
Well, that's like the Loki timeline of the Disney miniseries, right? Like, it's Loki in different timelines, different realities, and there's like a female Loki.
Oh.
And spoiler alert, sorry if you like watching season 1. And
3, 2, 1, spoiler alert. Oh,
they start like falling for each other, and it like really like
messes
F's up the
everything up.
timeline really bad. And so then there's these people that are trying to fix the timeline. And so then it's like, well,
Is that Owen
like
Wilson?
vain? Yeah. Is that expected? I don't know. Then you go a step further, just being like, yeah, yourself, like sitting across the table.
So it's like himself, but it's a female of himself.
Right.
I don't know if I'd want to date a female version of myself. I'm going to go back to the original comment and say, like, it's kind of like the same thing. Like, did you kiss your dad on the lips when you were like a young kid?
No.
I did. And
Philbin hasn't kissed his wife on her lips, dude.
it's okay. One day.
It's germy. He's got too many germs.
Too many terms. It's like, did you
Rubber
tan?
lips, Pearsall.
She's not tanning.
Yeah,
She's got tanner. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Right.
Now for those dance competitions,
Some of this is
she
jokes.
tans up.
Yeah.
That seems fair. No, I think you could kiss yourself and it's not gay. That's my official.
Dang. All right. Hot take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it is, but
I think it'd
Okay.
be like kissing family. Some cultures, totally fine.
That's true.
And
What if you're in Europe?
And you're still batting for the same team.
yeah, I've seen Back to the Future, right?
Okay. You convinced me.
That's true.
Kissing
Okay,
his
let's
mom.
not go down the mom road, though. I
Oh,
don't.
Mom Road.
I can't. All right. Okay. Well, episode 5.
Okay.
Back with Travis and Fielding, and today we are going to be talking about what, Travis? This is going to be a different. This is a different feel.
This is Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Sasquatch. Possibly. What's the one in the Himalayas? Yeti.
Yeti.
There's a lot of what do they call this classification of animal filling? It's got something to it. You know what it is.
Oh.
Cryptid.
Cryptozoology.
Okay, and they're called cryptids.
Cryptids.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So- you
like
can get, like,
chupacabra is a cryptid.
Yeah, so you can get like somebody who like works with like animals or something, you're like a zoologist, and then somebody who does like these type of like
It's like
crazy animals are a crypto.
I wonder if there's like a LinkedIn learning certification program for being a cryptozoologist. Like, I'm certified, and you can just announce it. Like, I just finished my week-long training.
Yeah.
You have it on some
Take
nice
like a
printed,
Yeah.
heavyweight paper on the wall.
Yeah, 4-hour seminar on Saturday, and you get it.
Yeah, and this
I'll look and see if there is. And then I'll become certified.
Cryptoologist? Cryptozoologist?
Cryptozoologist.
So this is an interesting one. I have my closest experience to this. I met a cryptozoologist. I already told this story to you guys once.
Yeah, I think it was episode 2.
Episode 2, where a man brought in photographs and he literally was paid. That was his full-time job to hunt Bigfoot.
Yeah, not a bad gig.
That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, he's not lying, I don't think. You know, he's getting incentivized to do it. I've thought about him a lot through the years because it's like, well, what incentive would he have? Because it's like, well, his job was just go hang out in the beautiful Pacific Northwest and get paid by the government, so I guess that's it.
Yeah.
But then if you could do that, why wouldn't you just go into sales, sell boats? You'd make millions.
Yeah.
Because you sold that if you didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I almost feel like if that was your game, that was your whole point, you'd probably be like an antisocial, or you just didn't like people, an introvert, go hang out in the woods, dude. Honestly, like, it'd be a pretty good gig. I mean, I'd bring like something to do, you know?
Yeah.
Fishing pole. Even though I suck at fishing, I'd probably, to be honest, I'd bring a pew-pew with me and some targets.
Okay, I have a question for you. Not a big gun guy. You enjoy the shooting game. If you saw Bigfoot, would you shoot it?
See, now you're getting into like the ethical side of like using a gun.
I would say what situation, right? Situational.
Well, you just see him. If he attacks you,
Right.
self-defense.
How far away is he?
Please lock eyes.
Oh, he's close then.
I mean, he's across a clearing.
A clearing like 100 yards?
Sure, 100 yards.
If he's within 100 yards, no.
What if he's in your camp trying to get your top ramen packages out of your backpack?
Dude, if it's the spicy one, I'm probably going to shoot him.
I've always thought of that as like, well...
You'd make a lot of money off of that kill, dude, I'm telling you.
You would.
But then I'd feel bad.
God, I would feel bad.
Because, I mean, it's like...
CIA would come and silence you.
I'm the believer that if you're going to go out and you're going to shoot an animal, you should eat it. I don't believe in like game hunting. I think animals are here for a reason for us to use.
What if you heard this?
Dude, it's quite the lung capacity.
That's a long how. I'm not going to say whether I think this is true or not, but I will say that if I'm camping in the Pacific Northwest, I mean, I've been there. I'm from Oregon. It's a different kind of camping than when I've gone camping in other places. It's dark. It's like wet. And there's something like about that combination that's kind of weighs down on you. And if I hear that, I'm probably shooting something.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like that sound to me, if I was out in the wild, camping, whatever, that to me, the first thing I would think is that's not an animal I know. And then I'd be going through my brain like, could that be a cougar? Could that be a bear? Could that be like, I don't know, a mating call of an elk or something? Maybe it's an animal that's like been trapped and hurt. You know what I mean? Because animals can make some pretty weird sounds, you know, when they're in distress and stuff. So I'd be thinking like, no matter what, I'd be thinking there's a predator out there. Either it got something or that is the predator. But I'd be pretty...
So that sound you just heard, 1971, there's a bunch of dudes and they were camping the Sierra Nevadas. So I'm imagining Creekside, California. I've never been there, but think like Reno, Lake Tahoe, over that area.
I lived there for a while.
It sounded far away.
Yeah, it's
so
pretty far
whatever
away.
it was like down the canyon from you.
Yeah, you probably have some distance.
Yeah.
Well, it was combined with other ones. For instance, they also heard this one, which was including rocks and stuff being thrown against their cabin.
Ooh, Bigfoots love doing
What?
that.
Yeah.
What?
So here.
Yeah.
Okay, now, all right, back up. That's a self-defense situation now.
So listen to this. So you're at an Airbnb,
Bro!
and you hear that long howl far away, and then I don't know how much long later,
I would...
rocks hitting your cabin.
Let's say 25 minutes later, you hear big old
And the feeling's
boulders.
like they like doing that.
They do like doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I believe in self-defense, believe in preservation of life. I'd be packing heat at that point in my hand, ready to go rock and roll.
But you certainly would be at least looking around, right? You know, a lot of people think these are fake, but there's murmurs, there's howls, wood knocks, some vocalizations that sound kind of like talking. Mm-hmm. He had his tape recorder with him, which in 1971 you think is kind of crazy. I'd be like having a lightsaber with you today. I don't know what. So it's like, okay, there's some reasons that this might not be real.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that sounds pretty creepy.
Well, and just to go back to, I mean, yeah, tape recorder. Why would you have it with you if you're camping? I mean, who knows? But
that's what I always think in the first video when you like see a video of Bigfoot and it's like perfectly centered in the shot.
Are you referencing something?
Convenient.
Well, that is the one that actually made me start loving it. The Patterson Gimlin film.
yeah,
That's the famous one. Even my favorite Christmas movie of all time, Elf. If you'll remember, like he's walking to New York from the North Pole, and he's like, and they spoof it, and he kind of has his arms like swung out like that.
Oh my gosh, I never realized that.
Yes.
You never realized that?
Yeah.
I just thought it was a funny walk, and I was like, he's so funny.
Funny side note in that Elf movie.
Oh my gosh.
So years and years ago, Daniel and I worked at the same financial institution. And we went to a Christmas party. And Daniel and I are pretty funny. So obviously people wanted to sit at our table. And we were very funny.
And keep saying it.
I know what you're talking about.
You're funny.
Well, I have to set the stage for how funny we were.
Okay.
It's important.
And then we, like later that night, my wife and I are watching Elf. And at the beginning, it shows those two elves that are like standing right next to each other, like jumping and dancing. And my wife's like, that's flipping you and Daniel. So now every time I see Elf, that was like 10 years ago.
A little while ago.
And every time I watch Elf, I always think, that's me and Daniel. Because it fits it so perfect.
I remember going home from that Christmas party, and my wife's like, you're freaking annoying. Like, you and Fielding, when you get together, you're so loud.
Oh,
And I'm like, you could you imagine working for us, though?
Yeah.
It's a freaking dang good time.
Yeah. Dangerous combo.
Yeah. So funny. Oh, it kills me. But that's scary, dude.
The Patterson Gimlin is interesting to me because this guy had some credibility. Like he was a guy that would he knew Roy Rogers and he would sell horses to him and things of that nature. Now, the other side of that is he was peripherally involved with Hollywood, right? Mm-hmm. And so he kind of understood some of that. His initial estimate of Bigfoot, I say this because this is almost how tall I am. Yeah, it was 6'6". So and later experts agreed with that estimate, but after he started trying to get money to film a Bigfoot movie, his estimates were raised to 7'6". So
even at 6'6", 6'6", hair covered, Travis size.
I'd say, how tall are you?
6'5", and I'm covered in hair also.
Yeah, but
So Bigfoot is real.
And if you were just
and
like
on camera
swinging
right now.
past, that'd be pretty scary.
you're seeing it here first on Connect the
Yes.
Dots. We have Bigfoot.
We have proof.
Oh my gosh.
And he is hard to kidnap.
Yeah, it's
We
possible.
tried. And said we befriended him. Like, what's that movie?
Harry and the Hendersons.
Harry and the Hendersons.
Dude, that's why I always wonder. I probably wouldn't shoot. What if it was that? What if it was a Harry and the Henderson situation?
Yeah.
But I also think if you were covered completely in hair, head to toe, and you caught me like going number 2 in the woods,
Yeah.
I'd
And you're
probably
busy out
shoot
there
you, dude.
throwing rocks.
Yeah, I'd shoot you. I'd feel bad afterwards.
I mean, in your defense, I mean, if I come up to you and you're taking number 2, and I'm like, it's like, what do you expect, bro? Come on, man.
I'd just be like, hey, can you throw me the toilet paper?
Chill out a little bit.
Yeah. Have a seat. I'll get to you in a
I
minute.
just need you to be quiet for a minute.
They can't focus.
But the throwing rocks and like slapping like
That's
huge
scary.
trees, like that's something that like Bigfoot encounters, however they said, like that's something that they say is super common because it's a way that they're communicating with each other. Because it's not a vocalization thing, and it's also a sound that is really hard to like copy, right? So like I pick up a tree branch and swing. The type of branch that I'm going to be able to pick up isn't very big. But the size of the branches that they're hitting is like super loud and super deep. So it's obviously
A Bigfoot.
a creature that's big enough that can swing a branch that size.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense because like you think about like elk and moose and deer and stuff like that during the rut. a lot of times like they'll rustle their antlers and stuff into bushes and stuff. And so hunters, to mimic the sound, will get like stomp and break branches and make a lot of noise so that other males are like, oh, there's a male over there.
I'm going over there.
I'm going to go kick his butt. Yeah. So that does make
That'd
sense.
Be a bad way. Like, hey guys, good news. I found Bigfoot. Bad news. He killed me because he thought I was another male.
Another male Bigfoot.
And when I took my shirt off to show him that I wasn't Bigfoot,
It was too late.
It's like
he still thought I was Bigfoot.
The Jack Links commercials.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love those commercials.
I just want to go into this. One of the more famous, and this is actually one I heard when I was a little kid, is the story of Ape Canyon. Have you guys heard of the Ape Canyon story?
Huh.
So it's summer of 1924. Fred Beck led a 5-man crew on an expedition to Mount St. Helens, which I watched explode from the playground at my elementary school when I was a little kid.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I didn't watch it explode. It was exploding. So we went outside. They let all of us go outside.
You saw it.
And I remember it was because I was in the Dalles, Oregon, which you could see. Dude, and because of the trade winds, we had about an inch of ash that fell down on us. It was pretty intense.
So you're sitting there looking at it. I mean, not explode, but exploding.
Yeah, and it was silent for us, right?
Because how far away were you?
It's a couple hours. I mean, good question. I would say that it's probably 100 miles. But it's like down the gorge, and then you have to go in north to the St. Helens.
So you're out on the playground looking at this thing as a kid, and you're probably thinking, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
In the meantime, people are running from the pyroclastic cloud and dying.
Yes. Someone had already died, right? And by the time I saw it, and
that's crazy to think about.
And they had that guy that was on Lost Lake, they called it, or wait, I could be getting confused, but I think it was Lost Lake. But it was this beautiful lake, and he lived there his whole life. He's like,
the older guy.
I ain't leaving, and it's like the lake was gone.
Yeah.
It was like the pyroclastic flow just went.
Yeah.
But I bring that up a little bit from this story because if you'll recall, in our UFO episode, St. Helens.
Yeah, hotspot.
Yeah. Everything happens. D.B. Cooper. Mm-hmm. St. Helens. Yeah. Same area, all this stuff happens. So
interesting. So
he's up at St. Helens after a few weeks of searching for this gold. They're pretty exhausted. They decide to take a break, and they make a shelter in a canyon on the Muddy River, which Beck had dubbed Ape Canyon. Which I don't know. It's interesting. Did he name it Ape Canyon before or after this?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to know.
After dinner, July 10th, the men were shocked when they noticed a foul stench filling.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah. Totally
common.
Yeah.
Bigfoot stinks. Spreading through their cabin. They suddenly found themselves under an intense barrage of heavy rocks that seemed to be deliberately thrown at their cabin, damaging the roof and walls. Terrified. Can you imagine? And it's 1924. There's no cell phones.
Yeah.
Bro, I would have pooped myself.
They're not even strong enough to throw rocks back then.
No. And if they did, the Bigfoots would know that they're not Bigfoots throwing them back.
They're smaller rocks.
They're tiny little rocks.
Yeah. It's a flawless.
Yeah.
It's a flawless system.
Flawless system.
So the men took cover while firing shots at the dark. They didn't have guns, claiming to have hit one of the beasts. Quotes. The barrage continued all night long as they cowered inside. Oh my gosh, all night long. In the morning light, they hurriedly packed up and fled the area, cutting the trip short. Upon returning to the town, the shaken prospectors told tales of being attacked by a group of ape-like creatures that walked on 2 legs. Their incredible story spread through newspapers nationwide. It's one of the first tales of Bigfoot in the United States.
I love it.
I've even seen a video recreation of this, and that'd be freaking scary. If you try to just imagine for a minute what that would be like. Just rocks raining down on your ramshackle cabin.
So they said they made a shelter. So they built.
This is where
a makeshift thing. Because maybe they set up camp where the Bigfoot lives, right? And so the Bigfoot's hey, maybe we have a young hidden underground or something.
It says both, right? It says they made camp, but it also says they had a cabin. Interesting. I don't know.
Well, maybe making camp could be I'm just making a campfire. We're outside. But if they ran into the cabin.
I was just on Mount Hood, which is you can see Mount St. Helens from it, and at the top of that they have it's like a public access cabin for your snowshoeing, or you get in trouble up there. It's like there's a shelter, and it's maintained, like this one I think is maintained by like a club that it's like a snowshoeing club, so they maintain it. The Forest Service lets them kind of control it, but it's on Forest Service land, so maybe it's something like that. And it was from that time frame, like 1910, 1920 is when it originally was built.
See, and I'd only feel safe in that situation if I was like in an Abrams tank or something. Like,
Can you imagine rocks being thrown? You're just supposed to like go to sleep.
Well, and what are you shooting at? What are you shooting at too?
Yeah.
Well, then imagine again that you hear those noises that they make. Because that's another thing I've heard. Yeah.
Dude, so that's scary. It's funny to me too, because like I know there's a lot of stories about like different creatures all over the country, all over the United States. But the thing that I've noticed in like a lot of the documentaries I've watched and stuff, that the animals that tend to get the most attention and get reported as like, I don't know, vampires, Bigfoot, different things like that, are animals that stand on 2 feet. And there's just something, I think, in our brains that when an animal gets on its back feet and you can't tell what it is, immediately an urban legend. And it's just something creepy. I don't know, like it's like when I saw a bear for the first time in my life and it was standing on its back 2 feet. Dude, immediately I was like, what is that?
Yeah, maybe there is something in our I
think there
is. Our lizard brain that's like, whoa.
Yeah, like, because you go out to the mountains, your expectation is you're going to see animals that are on 4 legs. And as soon as you see a creature on 2 legs, immediately, I don't know what that is. I don't know why it's standing up.
Skinwalker.
Yeah, scary. Scary stuff,
I can't wait
dude.
till we talk about skinwalkers. Oh.
I'm not even going to talk about them so much they're going to freaking be out of their cars when we leave.
Have you heard? I just heard this video of one. It might have been on what's the butterflies, guys? I don't give him credit where it's due.
Oh, ninjas or butterflies.
Ninjas or butterflies, and he had this recording, and it's like this guy's walking through the woods, and he has a recording of it, and it's like, "Hey."
Yeah, those are so creepy.
It's like a human voice.
Yeah.
Which is okay, easy to fake, blah blah blah. But if that's real, dude, that's freaking insane.
Well, there was one I saw that it was creepy. like a girl, and she was like, "Come here, help. Help." And he was like, "What do you need help with?" And it just kept being like, "Help, you need to come here, help, hurry." And he's like, "What do you need help with?"
Ooh, that's what
like, "What do you need help? I'll help you. What do you need?" And they were just like, "You need to come here and help." But she was like moving weird in the bush, and it was just like the top half of her. And he was like, "No."
Oh, whoa, I've seen that. And it moves odd, right?
Yeah, she's like moving weird. Like,
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, that was
we got to save all that because we might do a field trip because we live near.
Yeah, I think when we do our Skinwalker episode, we need to be near Skinwalker.
Oh my gosh! And let's get those cameras like Blair Witch style. You know,
we can make that work.
Not a chance.
Yes, dude, Billy. Oh, it'd be perfect.
I'm down, dude. Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, that scared me when you just told that story, so I'll be fine.
We should.
It's like I'm sitting like in a basement, like so. Being at Skinwalker Ranch, like hunting them, would probably be totally normal and fine.
Yeah. We should do that as like our 1,000 subscriber field trip. Get us to 1,000 subscribers so that we can go to Skinwalker, please.
Yeah. Brandon Fugel, please hear this.
Hey, I saw him at the tanning salon.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Came in on a cell phone.
That makes sense.
He looks tan all the time.
Yeah,
he looks he makes Fielding look like a homeless person.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
He's like dialed.
Dude,
in.
listen to this. He comes in. I'm sitting in the chair waiting because I'm like a peasant, you know.
Yeah.
Walks in on a cell phone, goes up, checks in, walks over, stands, continuing to talk on the cell phone very loudly, important business stuff.
Which is probably true. The dude's name is on every building
in
I'm like Brandon Fugel.
And then they go and get him, and they bring him back, and then I go up to the person working, and I'm like, "Do you know who that is?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "That's the guy that owns Skinwalker Ranch." And they're like, "Are you serious? I watched that show." I was like, "Yeah, that's him." While we're talking, you can hear him in the bed, still on his call. just like
tanning.
having his conference
crushing.
call just in there. Yeah.
He's just crushing. He's like, hey, have you seen my business cards? They're bone white. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Dude, what's that movie?
It's the one where he like kills everybody.
Yeah.
Psycho.
Yeah, with
No, not Psycho.
Batman.
American
Psycho.
yeah, American Psycho. Yeah.
But with
yeah.
Batman in it.
They're
Yeah.
bone white.
Yeah.
They're bone white.
They look at all the business cards and then he sees his.
No jokes aside, though, I do like Brandon. I like Brandon. I follow him on LinkedIn. Is basically it. But a dude with that kind of stature that then goes all in on Skinwalker Ranch and just loves it.
I thought it was
enjoys
cool.
it. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
I'm almost sad that like you weren't in the tanning bed laying next to his, and he was like, that almost scared me, dude. And he's like on the phone, like, so you're saying there's a portal above the ranch?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're gonna fire a rocket. Hold on, let me get my helicopter.
Yeah,
ready.
let me helicopter there.
I'll be there in 2 hours. Actually, make it 2 hours and 30 minutes. I just got in the tanning bed.
But no joke, dude, that guy owns 90% of the real estate, commercial real estate.
Dude.
Every building, his name's on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool.
He's crushing.
Oh.
He's crushing.
Yeah.
So, good for him.
It was freaking rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm basically pretty famous.
If you want to come on and be interviewed on our amazing podcast, let us know, Brandon.
Yeah.
We'd love to do it.
We would love to have you. And you can tell us everything you want about Skinwalker Branch. And
Yeah.
if we will have your preferred drink on hand.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Connect the Dots.
Yeah. I'll even go tanning with you.
Ooh, maybe the interview in the tanning bed.
Is that a thing for tanners?
A dual tanning thing?
No, just like I'll go tanning with you.
You're like next to him.
It's like in the same bed.
tell
Yeah.
us.
Oh.
So the top of me gets tanned.
Ah.
And the top of
The
him.
top of him gets tanned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just both be stand. Because there's
Oh
like
my
stand up
gosh.
beds.
Oh yeah, you just like cuddle
You
it.
both just stand up.
Rotate.
Yeah, that's what I know.
All right, turn around.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, oh my gosh. If that,
Interview while tanning.
Yeah,
that's the point.
Yeah,
and
of
their
course.
legs are sticking out the end. It's like this.
I was not supporting it before.
Now
I'm now 100% in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That could actually be a whole thing.
Hashtag
Spin-off.
Fielding in the and Brandon in the
I
tanning
just
bed.
like upload my thoughts while I'm tanning. Anyway, coming to you live from Palm Beach, an American pork.
Oh man, that's too good. I love it.
So have you guys ever experienced Bigfoot? And where are you from, generally speaking, your whole life?
Like majority of my adult life, Utah.
Okay. Have you seen any Sasquatch?
I have never seen anything, but I have had experiences in the woods that terrified me.
Okay.
My father-in-law has a Bigfoot story.
Utah?
No, his was in California.
Yeah.
There's something about like the North California, Oregon, Washington area. So for me, it's like everybody has a Bigfoot story, it seems like. My father-in-law's seen him. My wife, her softball team, they lived in Hood River, which is near Mount Hood, which is near...
Yeah.
Yeah. Their whole team was like playing softball, saw a Bigfoot.
Whoa. So multiple witnesses all at the same time.
Oh, yeah. And my wife is what I like to call a skeptic.
Yeah.
I don't even know if she's watched this podcast.
Probably not.
She's
Nonsense.
like, why would I? It's a bunch of... Why would I even want to waste my time believing that, even if it is true, because I want to have a positive life? That's
Right.
her.
Yeah.
Do I want to watch a guy that's hard to kidnap
Yeah.
on camera?
Yeah. She's like, I already know him.
I have to deal with one at home.
He's annoying.
I see him every
I
day.
wish someone would kidnap him. I'm frustrated that he's so hard to kidnap. But yeah, so even her has seen this. We actually got to figure out how to do this. Maybe call her an interviewer or something like that, and be able to do that for other people too. So I would actually love to get my father-in-law's story too. I'll recount it, but it's not as good because if you've seen Big Fish, it's like hearing a story from that guy. But
Yeah.
he walked into, so he was a logger. Like he's like a real man's man.
Oh, 100% loggers.
Yeah. He was a logger in like the 60s and 70s too. So it was like
Yeah.
When it was hard work?
He used his teeth or something.
Yeah.
They didn't have the machines that would like, you see in there, like, lock on, tip it over. And and they were still cutting down huge trees.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while they'd have to use the one to
Yeah.
get longer.
Like every day somebody on your crew dies.
Yeah.
They just get
and
smashed.
yoked. You pictures him when he's like, he's absolutely yoked. Anyway, so they leave their site and they have like an excavator there and some other equipment, oil drums full of diesel fuel, different stuff like that. At this like base camp, they'd come there, they'd get other equipment, they'd go out and cut down trees and then come back. And then some other people come and pick up the trees, And so they left, they come cruising back into the camp, and it's like they're coming along this ridge and they can kind of see down, like around this, they'd have to drive down to it. So it's like below them.
Yeah.
And there's this entity there that's at camp, but it's really strange because like they're on the only road in that they made with that excavator that's there. There's no way.
Nobody's coming from the other direction.
There's no one coming from the other direction.
It's not on Google Maps.
Yeah, there is nothing like that.
Yeah.
And currently there's no printed map of this road. They built the road
because it's like their private road that no one knows about that.
And it kind of looks at them and it makes a gesture. I don't want to say waved because it wasn't necessarily like he like when he described it as like it wasn't necessarily intelligent.
Right.
It was like a gesture, like a signal-ish type thing, maybe that he thinks to maybe others. And it leaves, and they work their way down there, and sure enough, there's a smell.
That's so weird.
Like a weird smell.
Yeah.
And then he walks to the excavator, and he's like, the excavator track kind of came up to its like midline, like its waist. Well, it was literally up to like my father-in-law's chin, who's not super tall. He's like 5'10".
That's how tall I am.
But if your waist is 5'10", that's big.
That's huge.
So I thought,
Did he say like how it left? You said that
it
made
walked
a gesture.
off. It walked off, and it just disappeared. Away from him too. So where there's nothing, it's the woods.
And it just walked, didn't run. It wasn't scared. It just was like
no, it just meandered off. And so they continued to work there and log that area for quite a while. He goes, I don't know if it's my head, but always felt like I was being watched.
Yeah.
So.
And you mentioned the smell.
And it smelled. He never had.
Did they say what it smells like?
Like I haven't. He didn't. He just says stink. So this isn't from him, but I've heard it kind of like marijuana. Like it's skunky, but not quite skunky.
I heard it's
body odor.
I heard it's like stink, musk,
like a hippie's
putrid
apartment that hasn't been cleaned, and there's just and he hasn't showered for
VO nasty stuff.
You know what that makes me think of?
Interdimensional.
Doggy Day Spa. Our leave-in conditioner. Do you have a stinky Sasquatch in your house that's on 4 legs and you call it Fido?
Or an ass squatch?
Yeah.
Whoa.
You can clean it up with this leave-in conditioner. This one smells like holidays. Fielding was putting it in his hair.
I'm gonna do an internet review.
Yeah, here. I'm gonna spray some on your hand. Hold on. It's a brand new bottle.
All
right. Give it a little.
Oh wow, that's actually quite nice.
Yeah.
Well, I usually don't like scents because
you get a little bit of that?
They smell like heavy-ish. This is like clean smelling.
Yeah,
there you
I'm
go.
gonna leave it in my hair.
Yeah. So anytime you need your Fido to not smell like an ass squatch, use Doggy Day Spa.
I like it.
Back to you, Travis.
I love it, dude. I love that. Actually, the smell is wonderful.
It's got a little clove in there.
So
kind of nice.
I don't know. When you say you had scary things in the woods, like, do you think that there was something watching you? Is that what you're talking about? Or what is it? Is it related to Bigfoot?
It is, and I will tell you after this short break.
But like now I'm thinking about it too. It's like imagine like some couple and they just love each other so much, and everything's great, and they've been married 3 years, and it's their first, and they're not divorced, and they're giving you advice. Yeah, they're like, we don't even fart in front of each other.
Yeah.
It's It's like, okay. I mean, I appreciate
guys
how
are
happy
still
you are.
living in a thing that's
Keep
not
slaying.
Maybe that's a great question to ask your counselor for your marriage counselor.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to the point where you can fart in front of your wife and she mimics the sounds? Because that's where I'm at.
Yep.
I've actually seen that on the internet. Have you heard that one? Guess my fart. So like, hey honey, guess my fart, and then the wife will be like, the women are always like disgusted, but somehow they do it. And they're like, and then they'll fart, and sometimes
It's before it happens.
yes, and then sometimes it's like identical, and they're just both like, oh my gosh.
I don't think my wife will be too mad about me mentioning this, but our thing it's when one of us.
Hold on, Mary. I don't
also
support
don't
this.
condone this.
When one of us lets one go without saying anything. Like there's no communication between her and I. Like she could just like let one rip, or me, and it's like, and then the other person's responsibility is to go, no. Yeah, and then the other person's like, yeah, good job.
You guys should try it. You should try it on the Instagram. It's all over the place. You now just say, hey Mary, just tell me next time first. I'll go first.
Record it.
You try to mimic it with the real deal.
I think that's like a whole nother level to the challenge. I think that's going to actually entertain us for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Something you
That's
can
good.
save for the kids to enjoy one day.
Yeah, at our funeral. That'd be rad.
The rituals around farting are pretty funny. I mean, if we were all to be honest. I mean, I can still remember playing like slugs and vents. I want to explain it because we want to get going, but families have these, right? And it's hilarious. And it makes sense because everyone's doing it all the time.
Yeah, in our DNA code, like.
Oh, this is gonna go back
Like
to the Illuminati.
No.
Oh,
Just like a baby can like fart and then like smile,
yeah.
and even like my kid, it's
100% true.
It's funny.
It's hilarious.
Doesn't matter how.
Like literal infants, that would be like some of their earliest smiles.
Yeah.
I know we're getting off topic here, but
And it's funny.
One last thing.
Yeah, this is good stuff though.
When we had like one of my favorite memories.
Now I'm getting flooded with
we
stories.
And we even recorded it. But we were all sitting down. We had gotten Panda Express, like through the drive-thru, came home. We're sitting down at the kitchen table, and on my iPad, I pulled up YouTube. And I found this hilarious guy on YouTube. And if I can find his channel, I'll link it in. But he has this fake little farting, like, rubber thing. And what it does is it, like, goes on his hand. He squeezes it, and it goes, and it sounds like real. And he runs around in New York in Central Park. And he'll, like, run and then jump right in front of someone and be like, and then run away. Or he'll, like, act like he's stretching and go, dude, it is the funniest thing. And my kids were laughing so hard. Mary's crying. I'm crying. Farts are funny.
It's funny. Sorry. Yeah. I'm with you.
I love it.
God, did we move on or do we go to my 75 fart stories right now? No, we can move on.
Yeah, we'll trickle those in over many episodes.
Sorry, honey, that it's 2:00 in the morning before I got home.
We got on a fart rig.
Oh, too funny.
But okay, have you guys heard of this one?
I'm ready.
Are we ready to jump back in? Or do we
Yeah, no, let's do it. If not, we're going to go down the fart tunnel way too far.
Yeah, which would be fun.
And I'm sure maybe the Sasquatch are farting all the time, and that's why they smell so bad.
Yeah.
It could be.
So this is on topic, actually. We did a good job.
Bad diet.
I praise us. But in 1969, the summer of 69, come on, they got a song about it.
Yeah. Went to the moon, allegedly.
It's, for the most part, great, but this is a terrible story. 6-year-old Dennis Martin was on a camping trip with his family.
Oh, I didn't know he was a kid.
Yeah. In the Great Smoky Mountain National Park in eastern Tennessee. One afternoon, his family was hiking. Dennis' father briefly took his eyes off the boy and he vanished without a trace. So, how many times have I done that? Oof. Past the statute of limitations, one time, it was Christmas Eve, we went into town. I drove home out to my in-laws' house and left my kid in the car for like 2 hours. Snuck out, thinking I would just get him. My wife figured it out. He was sleeping fine. He's currently 22 years old, so don't call the police.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
We're gonna wake him up.
But my point is that
He's sound
panic.
asleep.
that panic as a dad, like that's the only time that I've really ever had that. But I could still remember it being like, "Where's Thor?"
Yeah.
And so that like,
yeah.
And so this dad, my heart goes out to him. An extensive search was launched that grew into hundreds of professional searchers, volunteers, helicopters, bloodhounds, and over the course of several weeks, the only clues uncovered were large, unidentified bear footprints.
Weeks?
Is bear in quotation?
No, they're just bare, like, unshoed.
B-A-R-E.
B-A-R-E, yes.
Bear.
Oh, okay.
And a possible sighting of Dennis with an unidentified tall man.
Oof. You could go
So-
two ways.
Right. I mean, there's what's worse. I don't know, but
Yeah.
But the tall man on a ridge near the campsite, so it's far enough away where they see him with this. It's a little boy and then a tall man, much taller.
Yeah.
But they, it's just a silhouette, so you can't see if it's what it is.
Yeah.
But they did find, so they went over there and they did find lots of huge footprints.
God.
So, I mean, this is the first time that I've ever really heard that there is a possible relationship between actual something dangerous and Sasquatch.
Yeah.
That brings like a whole nother level of like realism to it. Because most of my experience has been like tall tales, a couple clips here and there. People are using it for merch and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to have a kid get kidnapped, not just for like, because I get it, like you could have a kid be lost for like 24 hours, right? And then find them and they're okay. Well, weeks?
Well, and to this day, it's been 50 years, over 50 years.
They never found him.
They never found him.
Oh my gosh.
He's probably, how the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy,
Quill?
ship like comes down and picks up that boy. That's probably it. Bigfoot was like, "You're a broken soul. I'm going to take you with me. I'm going to take you to my realm, my dimension. We're going to raise you up right."
I mean, that could make sense as to why they've never found one.
It's not impossible.
Is this another one of those things, Fielding, where the movies are telling us the plain truth?
Yeah.
I wonder about that. Well, I do wonder. So my only real experience with Bigfoot. I mean, I say this. I don't know it's Bigfoot, but I was camping up in it's by La Grande, Oregon. Can't remember what the name of the mountain now is, but we're by John Henry Lake, and it's like you have to hike in there. It's the only way, and you're in a bowl. It's like the lake's there, and it's like you have to hike up and out. And we're there, we're alone, we're by the campfire, and I keep seeing a face, like the firelight hits the trees at different levels, and it kind of looks like you're almost in a room of trees when it's thick trees.
Right.
There's like enough of a face that you're like, that's a face in the trees, but then it vanishes immediately. But then it keeps coming back, and then I'm like, there's three other people. There's my friend Sheldon and two others, and I say, Sheldon, do you see a face in the woods?
Scary.
He's like, I was going to tell you.
No way.
I was going to tell you, and I'm like, dude, are we freaking out? Yeah, we're freaking out. We're kind of laughing at it because we're like being macho and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm like, and really end of the story. So anticlimactic, except we go to bed that night. And our tents are really far apart because when we hiked into this lake, we were with, I don't remember the number of people, like 20-something people. So there's like 15 tents. We kind of set them all in this line. And they're all kind of far enough away so you can't hear people, breathing. And so we're probably 150 yards from each other now because everyone had left that day.
You're 150 yards
away from each other.
Away from
yeah, and
the
so
person you're camping with.
Yeah, and so we're both about equidistance from the fire, but we walk back to our camp, and I get my toothbrush, brush my teeth, and do our, and the moon's really bright. The moon is really bright, and I don't know. We calm down. So
yeah,
I get in bed, and the guy I'm with, I'm bunking with, he just falls asleep like immediately. And I'm reading a book. I was doing this thing where I was like reading the scriptures. So I'm like reading my scriptures.
Good boy.
And I hear this, like, you ever hear someone like brush the outside of your tent? And it's like,
Yeah.
I hear that. And so then you also know the feeling like when you all of a sudden are super scared and then you don't move or breathe and you stop your heart.
You just hear everything.
And then your ears like expand. So I heard some touch of tent. I immediately stopped moving or breathing. But then the weird part was it was like a long period of pure silence. Like I even noticed we're in the woods. There was no other noises.
Because an apex predator's out there.
I'm like,
all the grasshoppers
wait a minute, when? And then I start in my mind. I'm panicking. Like, when did all of the noise stop? And then I hear shh on the tent again. And I'm looking at the guy next to me. He's still asleep, and I'm like, do I wake him? What do I do? And so I'm just pretended my tent was made out of, titanium.
Yeah.
Like anyone would.
Fortress of Solitude.
And I'm sitting up so that I can be, so that my head is like as far away from every edge. It's a dome tent.
Yeah.
So I'm like leaning kind of over the guy next to me because I'm next to the wall of the tent.
Yeah.
And then I hear a breath,
way.
dude. Like that's bad. It was more like,
my gosh,
I don't know, a chuff, I guess you'd call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. And then I just sat there for probably, I don't know, 7 hours sitting straight. I don't know. I just sat there like not moving for quite a while. And then finally I'm like, well, I'm just going to lay down and go to sleep. Because like, what are your options? Go out? No, that is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then I no other incidents that whole night. Go back, get up, going through morning routine. I go over. Sheldon's not awake yet in their tent. So I walk around like, what? Did you come by my tent last night? He's like, no. Did you come by my tent?
Shut up.
Yes.
Bitch.
He had the exact same experience by his tent. Now, rational minds, elk, deer, bear maybe in a dangerous, it could have been those things. But here's the weird part. Around our tent was this like, it's almost like talcum powder, dirt. It's like you put your handprint in and you can see your fingerprints.
Soft.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? That type of stuff? It's all around, and there's not any footprints. There's not a Bigfoot footprint, but
no,
and it was like water. So the reason it was like that because water would sometimes be there and sometimes not be there. Mm-hmm. So there was these clumps of grass that you could walk on, kind of like stepping stones, and that's what we would walk on them. Human beings, on 2 feet, So in my mind, I'm like, if it's an elk or a bear, they're not trying to walk on the tops of these things.
No.
And that was my only story. I didn't smell anything either, so I wish I,
could remember that.
if there was a smell.
Did you recognize, like, did the sound ever come back, like crickets, birds?
Oh, yeah. It's true. So then after a while, it seemed like it was a really long time, but it could have been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
In those moments.
Then you could just hear like little cricket thingies and sound.
Yeah.
Bro.
Another rational mind thought though was when I went into that hyper vigilant mode, maybe you turn, you block out sound. So I mean, I'm not saying it was 100% Bigfoot, but I was scared to death.
Bigfoot probably brushed your tent and was like, "Oh,
dang,
shoot!" So he's holding still.
Yeah,
and
he's
you're like
a bag of Lays. He's like,
we're both. He's like, oh my, and then he's telling, dude, right now, he's telling his friends about this.
Yeah.
On a podcast.
In
a different realm.
I was visiting the Earth realm, and I was walking by, and sometimes those humans they sleep in linen houses. I bumped one.
And they're like,
no!
Oh,
I was so quiet.
I was just trying to get those little thin, little crispy things that they eat.
Yeah. The packets of Lipton.
Did he
of soup.
Did he follow you back to the rock door? No, man, he didn't see me. I promise.
Dude, the rock door.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so here's what I want to now just kind of maybe say. Here's what I think is most likely true. I'm leaning no real Bigfoot.
Okay.
However, is there some animal? So I guess what I mean by no Bigfoot is it's not like a humanoid. Is there some animal like a chimp or something out there? That's possible. I just think it's less likely. If there is a Bigfoot, I think it's probably the descendant of the very successful, what are we called, Homo sapien?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and what was the one we supposedly extincted? Homo erectus, or
Yeah, I think you're right.
anyway, the less successful one with the bigger skull. That's what I think it is, and I think it's pretty smart, but kind of like specialized, like where we became generalists and we farmed and made social media and all this stuff. It just basically said, what's the base level to survive?
Yeah.
And it did that. That explains to me why a lot of times it's in places like Tennessee. It's in heavy
forested areas.
There's a lot of food. There's a lot of shelter. Yeah, it's cold, but you're hairy. You know, it's like pretty good places to survive and not be seen. There's, the coelacanth is something I always thought of. That's a fish that was extinct until like 1978, and then they caught one, and it's alive, and it's like they had fossils of it, and then the science was like, this does not exist anymore.
Yeah,
and then
they
caught one, and so it's like I can see that being something like what this is, similar with Loch Ness and those type of things, where there are animals that existed. And somehow specialize their way into something, and we maybe witness the end of them. Like that's another too. Maybe the last ones died out.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, Loch Ness and like the ocean terrifies me, and the ocean's obviously covers 70% of the earth.
Yeah, the ocean's awful.
Yeah,
should terrify you.
Yeah, can something hide in that? Absolutely. But this is my take. I love the stories. I love like the cult following that Sasquatch has. I just find it very hard to believe with the amount of like hunting that happens, at least in the United States. I know in some there's like national forests where you can't hunt and stuff like that. I get that. But just with the amount of like presence that we have in the wild, I just would find it hard for an animal that large, that big, to be living... That smelly. Yeah. To be living in the forest without concrete evidence coming forth, or what happens when they die. It's not like they're going to evaporate, you know what I mean? Like, are they burying their own dead? Like, I don't know. So it's hard for me to think that over such a large period of time, like, I mean, there's videos, there's some sightings, who knows if they're faked or not. But I would find it hard to believe that there's like a group of Sasquatch, chimpanzee, gorilla type animals that are living in forests in the United States without people having actual images or us buying tags to hunt them or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I have a hard time with, did they exist?
Side hustle idea.
Tags.
Yeah.
Sell Bigfoot tags.
Yeah, dude. You'd sell a ton of them,
so
and
if you get one, cool. You're allowed to.
Yeah, good job.
Fielding. Daniel first before we go to Philly. So you're saying not possible, but unlikely.
I think is it possible that there was a species, an animal species of some kind that resembles Bigfoot? Yeah, 100%. But do I think they're alive today? No, I don't think they're alive in the last, couple hundred years. I mean, ever since we've had cameras and people were able to write down stories and stuff, I just don't think that there's Bigfoot out there right now. Unless, only caveat to that is if Fielding's right and they're going to a different realm and teleporting somewhere. That's a whole different...
Yeah, there's a couple theories on that. Like one of the theories is that they're like from a different dimension, and so they can come into our dimension to hunt, and so...
Oh, so they're here hunting?
Mm-hmm. And so then they'll like come in and
they have a bunch of dreads coming out of a helmet.
Style? Oh, I don't like Fielding where you're going with
getting
that.
like scary animals and things. And so oftentimes when they're hunting, if they come in like contact or they're around a human, they'll do like the sticks and the rocks to get you to leave so they can hunt and then like leave. Another theory is they're like
That's like a whole nother level of terror.
so that's where then like they take the kid. It's like,
Oh god.
you know,
Their planet's dying. They need some genetic code.
yeah, it's the future.
They need a king.
Why don't they just do it like every other person and create an island and call it Epstein Island and then just, bring people to that island? And seems like less work than going to a different realm, but
I do not feel like killing myself.
It's because we don't know how to. We just don't know how to like open our third eye chakra and like get into that. Anyway, another theory is that these are like the descendants of Cain, so they're like marked and cursed, but they've been alive. They've been on the earth so long that they are animalistic, and that's why they stink. That's why, but they're like also demonic almost. And so
Interesting, because that could even tie into like, well, who did Cain reproduce with? And it's like the Apocrypha and the giants.
yeah,
I don't know, I guess
which like I yeah. So I'm like with Bigfoot, I'm super open to it. Like
I guess like with like all the different possibilities, right? Like honeycomb earth, rock doors, different dimensions. I guess the probability of something like that actually happening is probably high with all the crazy stuff that's out there. But until I see a Bigfoot either get, sucked up into a spacecraft or walk into like some kind of wormhole and then closes.
yeah.
Yeah, we need more evidence for me to bite.
Yeah. Like you didn't even think like with the Google Earth cars and they're like driving through the woods now and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like,
Maybe that's it. Maybe that'll be the trigger.
Yeah.
You'll see like a Bigfoot that's like halfway through the portal.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah. That would be sweet.
that would be sick. Another T-shirt idea. Well, I love the Bigfoot stories. It's obviously a big part of our culture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of, you have some pride in being from the Pacific Northwest. It's like it's kind of like ingrained in a lot of things there.
Yeah.
You go into restaurants, they have like a Bigfoot burger and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
so
That's cool.
it's kind of fun. I loved Harry and the Hendersons, but some of the stuff, if you really kind of let's assume Bigfoot's real and your experience, some of the experience they had, pretty freaking scary stuff.
That'd be terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just the idea of having, I don't know, an animal that's looks like us, that's stronger than us, that's bigger than us, can like crack your head open without even trying. That terrifies me.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, why didn't I just get out of that tent, get proof?
No,
If
you
I would've
did.
just-
You
if I would've just been
100%
brave-
did the right thing.
If I would have just
100%.
been brave, dude, get a swatch of hair right off its back.
Yeah.
He's like, ow.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Hey, if the guys that shot the original famous movie were right, he was only my size.
Yeah.
I had a 50-50 shot, man.
Or you
okay?
grab
But
his
were
hair.
you 6'6" back then? At this time that this happened?
That's true.
Yeah, I was an adult.
Oh, I thought
I
you were a
envisioned
kid.
you as a kid.
Oh,
Yeah,
No,
like
no.
16-year-old kid.
No,
Yeah.
this was a
I
backpacking
take-
Makes
trip.
a
I
little
take
more
back my-
sense that
I take
you're
back my-
150 like, yards from like.
Oh no, we were adults. Yeah, this was a work
Oh.
work friends.
Oh, okay.
I know. I'm imagining like these 14-year-old boys. Why are you guys so far apart? First of
Yeah,
all,
why
that's
are
a
there so
bad
many-
idea.
why are
And
there
then
so
second
many of
all,
you between
I
the tent?
100% respected you as a 14-year-old Travis staying in the tent. Now I retract what I said. You should have gone out there and taken it.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, Travis.
I'd
No
be-
way, dude.
I'd be rich and famous, dude.
You would have reached out, grabbed the hair. He would have turned around and just popped your head. You'd be dead.
Yeah, but they
I think
find my
Travis would
body.
have
And in my body, I would have proof. And my posterity would be like, my dad proved Bigfoot.
Yeah.
That
The
actually be pretty
CIA
cool.
would scrub your existence.
That's true. They immediately showed up.
yeah.
And your
After I
wife,
was dead.
They
and your
step-
wife can't get your social security for some
Yeah,
reason.
they step through a portal and they start cleaning it up.
Well, here we go again,
They
Bob.
step-
What are you doing after work?
Well, I got to shoot over to Montana. We got another cleanup job there.
Another idiot. Too brave.
Too brave.
He can just stay in his tent, in his titanium seeming tent. Stay safe.
Oh man.
Oh, well.
Holy cow.
That's crazy, though, dude.
Great chatting, boys. This was fun.
Yeah. And we've got Monsters, Inc. The next episode.
I might actually tear up with this next one, but because here's the thing about the next episode. Whether or not the extent of what we're talking about is true, I do believe it's true. Now, is it monsters, or is it just monsters?
I think after the next week's episode, we're gonna have to like throw some salt over our shoulders, say a prayer, get some holy water, because I agree. This one will be a creepy one.
Yeah, if you believe in religion, you're already there.
Yeah, you're already on board with this next one.
Like, yeah.
But don't spoil it.
That's a tough...
It's Monsters, Inc. episode.
It's a tough pill to swallow.
Evil exists.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
That'd be good. That'd be a good one.